all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados and deadheads that are joining us for tonight's MaliceCast TV talk, The Walking Dead. We are back because The Walking Dead is back. It's the mid-season premiere happened last night, Sunday, by the name of Honor. And it was an interesting one, to say the least. I think we have some lovers and haters of the episode. I've seen consensus being that people pretty much enjoyed this episode, and we'll get a little deeper into that. But you have me, Mess5150, with my Walking Dead background, my new Walking Dead shirt, which Mrs. Malice also has. And welcome to the cast, Mrs. Malice. Haven't seen you in a while.
I have my Negan shirt on, so...
From the fantastic people at Loot Crate. Not a sponsor, but if you guys want to sponsor us, we are more than willing to let you sponsor us. So
I did
we will take money and or stuff.
Stuff I'm always good with.
Because I'm good with stuff too.
I buy all your stuff anyways, so if you want to just send it to me, I'm perfectly happy with that as well. We also have joining us on the cast ICZorro. You may see him on many other podcasts that we have.
So many podcasts now. I'm like, okay, how many nights do I have to block out this week?
So many good things to talk about. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Well, we all know how much I love to talk. So.
Yes, that's true.
No comment.
Okay. So for those that are joining us, if you haven't watched the episode already, shame on you. You should have watched it, and be aware.
What are you doing here?
This is a spoiler cast. We are not going to hold back any spoils for the episode. Carl dies. So
Morgan goes nuts.
Yeah. If you haven't seen, if you've been trying to stay away from it, that's this. At least they didn't drag it out for a couple episodes. Yeah. He's straight up dead in this one.
Carol kills a lot and is self-righteous and mean to a child who saw that coming.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into that too. Main stories that were in this week's episode. Basically, 90% of it was Carl dying and kind of retrospective on what led up to the bite that ended up killing him. And then you had your little bit of side story that was Carol and Morgan basically going to rescue Ezekiel.
Mm-hmm. And then just a smidgen of fever dream.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's to rescue the king.
Yes. So, let's just get into it. Favorite moment. What was your guys' favorite part of the episode?
Mrs. Malice is going to take mine, so I'm just going to go ahead and say I piggyback on what she's about to say.
Okay.
Probably the scene where Morgan and they're fighting out in the little theater, and the guy tackles Morgan, and Morgan sticks his fingers in the guy's bullet wound in his gut and pulls out his guts, leaving a trail of entrails.
He doesn't just stick his fingers in there; he fists the guy's torso.
Pretty much.
The only real gore scene of the episode that we got.
Yes, the only gore scene, which we all know I like the gore scenes.
And I mean, come on, we've seen some blatant gory violence in this show, but this one I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That was the topper.
Yeah, for all those that haven't watched the previous episodes of the MaliceCast TV Talks for The Walking Dead, those are all over on our YouTube page. If you're watching this on YouTube later, then you can just click on some of those previous casts, but they do definitely... If you watch them, you will learn that Mrs. Malice loves gore and explosions and death when it comes to Walking Dead.
And Daryl.
Yeah, which there wasn't a lot of in this episode, so I don't know how much that helped you enjoy it as well. My favorite moment, and we talked about this a little bit before the cast, and ICZorro does not agree with me, was the beginning, was the song with... kind of leading up, showing us Carl getting bit, showing him coming to terms with what was going to happen, showing us how much of an adult he has become because he was getting prepped for the plan that was coming into place where if something happened, he had the sewer ready and was putting all his ducks in a row.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I liked the actual scenes. I just hated the song.
I like the
I would rather listen to Easy Street a lot.
No, I'd rather listen to that song than Easy Street. No,
that's saying a lot.
I have literally played the song Easy Street at work though. So
is that what I thought you liked your job? No,
It's fun watching people go, "What is this?"
well, I okay. So maybe you need to go back and listen to the song because there's two things that they did with this song that I noticed after delving into it. So the song is by a band called Bright Eyes. It's called At the Bottom of Everything. And one, the lyrics are not in order, which is a very interesting thing that they did with the episode. The note it ends on is actually the middle part of the song, and the middle to the end actually plays from the beginning to end of this, from the beginning to middle of the scene. So they completely swapped the song around, which I guess they just wanted to end on the sun line.
What if you play the scenes in the order of the song? That's how the song's supposed to go. What would that do to it?
Well, one, it would end on what was the best line in there, and it's oh, my morning's coming back, the whole world's waking up, the city bus is swimming past, I'm happy just because I found out that I'm really no one. That's what it would end on, but I think that's a more powerful line to end on. That came in the middle instead of being at the end, and it's a much more powerful line because it would have made more sense with what Carl says later about having to fix this without killing everybody. Him realizing that, yeah, I'm just nobody in this thing. I'm here. I've progressed where I can, but all in all, we need to learn to live together at some point. And
that's the sort of naive pronouncement only the dying can make.
Yeah.
Everything's bad. Can we just make it better? Peace out.
That's the thing about this song. So you can't put the entire song in there because the song opens up with spoken word, and the spoken word is about this girl that's flying on a plane, and she's flying home to see her fiance, and she's talking about like the only thing that she hears the guy sitting next to her say is ordering his Bloody Marys, and she's reading an article about a third world country she can't announce, and all of a sudden the plane starts shaking, and all you hear over the intercom is the pilot saying, I'm sorry. And she looks at the guy next to her and she's like, what's going on? Where are we going? And he looks at her and he just starts like smiling and going, we're going to a party. We're going to your birthday party. And everybody will be happy to see you there. So it's basically coming to grips with, hey, we're dying, so let's just enjoy what we've got left.
So it was a good song to play for.
It's a fantastic song to play for it, but you don't get that aspect of the song because they can't put the spoken word part of that in it, which explains the story. The other thing that they didn't have in that's in the song is there's a line that says, and then they splashed into the deep blue sea. It was a wonderful splash, because it's about a plane crashing into the ocean. They couldn't say that, but it's the same type of thing coming with grips to. It's gonna happen. Enjoy it while you're here.
Well,
and so,
yeah, but then the tail section ends up on the other side of the island, and it's a whole thing.
It's lost.
We're lost. We're in a whole new TV show.
Yeah, exactly. But I heard the song. I had to dive into what was what was the song, and when you look at the lyrics, it's a fantastic choice. I read one article.
I'm sure that if I could have paid attention to the lyrics while it was going, I maybe would have liked it more. But with the whole montage of Carl prepping for death, I was paying more attention to the visuals.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because you finally got to see when Carl exactly got bit, because they showed that during that song.
Well, that's what I'm here for, is to dive into all that stuff and tell you guys about the things that are going on there.
Oh, who's a good host?
And get your retrospectives on what you think about it. So now, knowing that that's the theme of the song and the stuff, do you think it fits better with that opening?
Yes.
Oh yeah, and even watching it the first time, I was pretty certain that the lyrics had something to do with what was going on and probably fit really well. I was paying attention to what they were actually doing rather than listening to the lyrics. I thought it was kind of interesting that Carl took the whole letter to everybody that he was leaving behind thing from what's his name pulling that letter from Michonne out of his pocket. He saw that like Michonne says, I'm going to check something out, I'll be back soon, and he looks at it and goes, and then writes a stack of letters.
Yeah, to every single person, like, which was really sweet.
And I found it interesting. I found it interesting that he wrote one to Rick before he wrote one to Enid. Like Enid came after. Like, was he saving more of the?
I said goodbye,
Well, if it were me and I was dying, I would save the most important person for last. Like, I want to build up all my thoughts and prepare myself,
But don't forget Enid doesn't even know what's going on because she's stuck with Aaron with the Amazons of Oceanside.
Yeah, I could see the waiting till the end to write it, but at the same time, you may want to be one of the first to write it because you don't want to lose train of thought or because you're writing to all these other people and stuff like that. So
The
Two
death
different
letter
ways.
to your dad plagiarized from the other letters.
How are you gonna write? Yeah, exactly. Hey, he said the same goodbye in this one as he did.
This is just a form letter for death. What the hell? Boilerplate. This is garbage.
Dear, put name here. I got it.
He doesn't even sign it. He's just got a stamp.
I'm going to die. I'm sorry. Be good.
I've known you for blank amount of days. You mean so much to me. Yeah. Well, if you saw next week's teaser, we see that Rick reads at least the letter that was written to him. So
hashtag preforma death letters.
Where's the will? I am leaving you my hat. Yeah. So
no, that one goes to Judith.
That goes to Judith.
That went to Judith.
I think there's so much strength in the letter from showing that scene again of the letter from Michonne, because you saw that letter being written by Michonne earlier in the season when she had to go see the end of the Saviors, and after she told Carl that she'd be there.
End of the Saviors. And
the end didn't happen, but you got to think that that's what's dwelling in her mind as well, is that time that she left when she said she'd be there is pretty much the time that Carl.
It's when he got bit.
Yeah, and had she been there, chances are it wouldn't have happened if she would have stuck to what the plan was.
There was a couple of different things where Carl was like when Carl was giving his half an hour long death speech, that he was kind of, you could see Rick saying like, that was the guy at the gas station, and you could see like the wheels turning in his head, like, if I hadn't been a dick then, my kid wouldn't be dying.
Yep.
Yeah, but that comes back to showing that Carl has grown as a man, and that's what Rick said as well, is that, you know,
also it shows that Carl, because when Rick started off in the season, he was all about saving everybody and, you know, peace and all that. Carl went back to old Rick versus new Rick, who's all about war and killing everybody. And he does mention that, you know, Carl tells Rick it should be peaceful again. So
well, what the heck is with this dichotomy of Rick and Morgan? That's what I want to know, is why can't they ever be on the same page? They got to flip every single time one's changing to the other.
That's true.
So every time that Morgan's psychopath kill everybody, Rick is calm, level-headed. Hey, let me get you in the right headspace. And then once they keep flipping at the exact same time, I just want them both to be.
It's like the light. It's like when you. Yeah, it's like when you have the light switches at either end of a staircase and only one can be on.
Yeah. So can you both be crazy or both be good? Let's do it.
Yeah, because if they're both clearing at the same time, the Saviors have no chance.
Yeah. Along with Carol and Daryl. Yeah.
But yeah. Carol's flipping back and forth too. You know, she's going in this episode, she's going with Morgan all out, kill everybody, until you get to the one guy that's like, you don't have to kill him.
No, she's not, because she tells him
that's true. Yeah.
Well, you know, we'll take him out if we have to. Yeah,
and she does try to stop him from killing the 3 people loading up the truck.
Yeah.
And but then I think when she goes in there, she meant to go in there to kill everyone and get Ezekiel. That was her goal until they saw the little kid. Until they saw the little kid, and her mind switched to trying to get the kid and get Ezekiel and try to do it quietly. And then Morgan's like, nope.
Well, and the bloodthirst that Morgan's getting, it's not quick kills. There's times that he's just stabbing him and like staring at them, watching them writhe in pain first before.
Yeah. He broke somebody's larynx and then stabbed them in the chest and then killed them.
Yeah.
It's like, was that necessary? By the way, how sharp is Morgan's stick? It's going straight through people.
Pretty sharp. He sharpened it like a while back.
Still, like
it's pointy.
That's rough.
That's just a giant toothpick is what it is. So But I mean, the one guy that we kind of liked from Negan's group that seems like he had a level head,
Like the one decent dude in the Saviors,
yeah, has there's a question that was posed online, and they were talking about Henry, which is your favorite child actor on the show, ICZorro, and every time he pops up, you talk about how great his acting is.
Kid's gonna win Emmys.
But the question that was posed is Henry turning into Lizzie 2.0? What do you guys think?
Only if he looks at the flowers.
Actually, though, with him too, when he kills that guy before Morgan does, he looks about the same age that Carl made his first kill.
Well, that's the representation they're trying to show, I think.
Oh yeah, because it was definitely parallels.
Yeah, because the story's brought back up by Carl when he's talking to Rick about having to kill that guy. The interesting thing with this is, in this world that you're growing up in, can you kill without bloodthirst at that young of an age and all you know around you is death? Versus Carl, who had a little bit of knowing what wasn't this world and kind of realizing that killing is not a good thing.
Well, Carl even talks about that a little bit before he dies, about killing the kid outside the prison.
Him killing, he finally tells Rick face to face, I killed this dude. He was surrendering, but I killed him.
Well, I mean, and Rick knew that already, didn't he? Like, that's the whole, and Carl even talks about that a little bit. That's why Rick went all pacifist for like half a season.
Yeah. But I mean, how much more important? Carl's not one of my favorite characters. I
me either.
Never been big on him. He's fantastic in the comic books because he grows a pair, but that's what I've been waiting for this entire season, and they took away that chance that happens in the comic books of how good he is in the comics. But how much more powerful and impactful is a character like that, where you now realize that people at his age range that have gone through the things he goes through would be a lot easier to talk to other people that are Henry killing for the first time, only seeing that type of world. I mean, he used Morgan's words when talking to Ezekiel, saying, I had to.
Right. Carl and people of his age are like what's the term for my micro generation? The Xennials, were the people between Gen X and millennials. Like, we didn't grow up with technology, but we grew up with as technology grew up. So for him, he didn't grow up in the apocalypse, but he grew up with the apocalypse.
Yeah.
So, people like Judith, all they're ever going to know is zombie land.
Yeah.
People like Rick and Daryl and the elders, they remember the old world. Carl was the one that was like, got a little bit of old world, and now everybody's killing everything.
Which makes it easier to explain to the younger ones, the ones that are just a little bit younger, of, hey, this is not right, this is right, and this is what you do and stuff. Because kids are gonna look at adults no matter what, that you don't know the turmoil that I'm going through, and so that's teens.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there was a line that Carl said to Judith, not that she's old enough to understand it yet, but he said something, along the lines of, hey, sometimes, listen to the parents or listen to the adults, but sometimes don't, because sometimes the kids have to lead the adults.
Yeah.
Yep.
The exact words was, sometimes kids got to show their parents the way.
Yeah. Which is pretty true in this case too, especially in the zombie world.
Yeah. So
also, rule 2, cardio.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you, Zorro. This could have been a normal standard length episode. I felt that they did the Carl choking and talking, saying goodbye.
I didn't need an extra 14. I didn't need an extra 14 minutes of them cutting back and forth between Carl giving a speech and the obvious parallels in the other storyline. We get it. Yeah.
But going back to Carl, we did get the answer to the fuzzy flash forwards.
Yes,
that they were.
Did we though?
Yeah.
Well, so that's the thing. Did we? What do you think? Do you think that's the end all be all? It was just Carl's dream of what the future is, Mrs. Malice?
Well, he was in his own dream. Because if you watch it again, you see him when Rick and Judith are in the kitchen with Michonne. You see Carl walk across the screen.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
it is his dream, and he's putting himself in his dream, and that's like because you don't see his face because you said that you don't see his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that makes the most sense to me as well, because if it was an actual preview of the future, come on, there's no way that Negan's living peaceably with everybody else.
I know. So no, I think it was just Carl's dream. We were seeing Carl's dream.
I mean, definitely, there are definite changes between the comic book and the show. Negan lives peaceably with people in the comics, so.
Well, and that's something that Mrs. Malice and I were talking about a little bit in the pre-show. Is I've only read up to issue 100. So the introduction, we've both only read up to the introduction of Negan, but I've heard from people that he doesn't die in the comics.
Well, it's a complete reverse dichotomy on it. Carl's the one that wants to kill Negan, and Rick's the one that says that we have to stay human. We have to, not do it. So it's interesting. And then Negan and Carl end up forming a very, very strong bond in the comic, which if they do a flash forward by doing what they did with Judith, and Judith still being alive in the comic and not being ripped in half as a baby.
Shot through Laurie's body.
Yeah, but it was a big bullet.
It was a big bullet.
Was it a 50 cal? Did it explode her?
The way that they made that drawing look, it did. But that gives us the chance of Judith taking on that connection that happens between Carl and Negan, if Negan does survive. There was an interesting point made. I still think it's just a fever dream and it's Carl's dream. But there was an interesting point made on the way that Rick deals with close death. In the comic, the death of Laurie, he gets the phone call from Laurie after she's dead. He goes a little cuckoo, but he takes that phone with him pretty much all the way up until Negan appears. Like it's stretched a lot farther in the comic than what happens. Yeah, than what happens inside the TV show, where it's only like 2-3 episodes.
Yeah.
I think it was most of the back half of that season, but still relatively short time.
Yeah. A point was made that maybe the dream is still Rick's, and that he's seeing Carl's ghost, or he's seeing, that
maybe seeing what Carl described.
Yeah. So, I mean, I still think it's just a fever dream, but it was an interesting little way of looking at it. What if it is Rick's dream and he just still sees Carl everywhere because he went nuts when Laurie died, and this will be an even bigger blow to him.
I am just now finding out a place where I can read the rest of those comics online. However, I got when I first read the series, it was on trade paperbacks, like the big collected versions, and I know that normally this is Mess job, but if you really want to read that stuff like I did, and I believe I'm the one that actually lent those trade paperbacks to Mrs. Malice and Jack Malice at the beginning, you can go to our website, malice-corp.com. We've got an Amazon link there that you can click on. Go there and get all the stuff that you possibly need. You're going to Amazon anyway. You might as well go through us and help us out a little bit.
Like I said, I got the compendiums from Costco, but if you want to get the compendiums, which collect a ton of the issues, I think compendium 1 collects 1 through 48, and then you get up to 100 with compendium 2, and then you're past it, so you're pretty much all caught up with 3 compendiums right now on Amazon. They're $37. They're normally a $60 book. So fantastic deal. That's pretty much the cost that I got them for at Costco. That tells you how good. And if you have Amazon Prime, you're getting them shipped to you for free. And if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription to send to people. And we're here on Twitch, so if you want to use that for your 30 days to help us out, please hit that subscribe button for Twitch with your Twitch Prime account. So
I also need the next book.
She's telling that to Jack Malice because
mainly.
he goes out and gets her books.
Mrs. Malice, I will send you a link that you can get something special with. So we'll take care of that.
Yeah. so let's talk about how this goes in the future. How is Carl's death going to affect, since we were talking about kind of him going off the deep end and stuff? He's said that he's going to make Carl's dream real. Is he going to be able to? Is this the TV show versus the comic? Has Rick just become another liar?
What do you mean just become? Rick gets real idealistic when people are dying.
Just now. That wasn't Rick all the episodes, killing everybody, going crazy.
As we were talking about earlier, Rick does a lot of flip-flopping back and forth in mental states. He's either all in on the killing or all in on the pacifism, and it really depends on the context. I think he for a while is going to try to make everything better, but at the same time he definitely still wants to kill Negan. Yeah. He has promised to kill that dude many times.
I think what's going to happen is he's going to kill for peace. So he's going to take a lot of them out and then try to get peace, because that seems to be the Rick way.
Andrew Lincoln had an interview with Entertainment Weekly talking about the second half of this season. And he said, I got to play with a lot of the old guard. I get to lean back in with Michonne, with Morgan, with Daryl. It just felt that there was some interesting movement in the back 8 episodes and unexpected storytelling. And then he went on with, I also got to hunt Negan with an axe, which is always great fun.
By the way, speaking of Michonne, did anybody else look at her differently after having seen Black Panther?
No, because she's badass in both. So
but I just kept picturing her bald with tattoos on her scalp.
I haven't seen Black Panther, so.
Oh, you need to.
Yeah, you need to see it. You know what? Turn this cast off. Go watch it now.
We'll talk to you later. Go now.
No. But yeah, so I mean, that's pretty telling to me that he doesn't take to what Carl said to 100%.
You don't set up an idyllic, peace-loving paradise by hunting someone with an axe.
Yeah, and I mean, they're already in mid-war, so he can't just stop it. He's going to have to keep fighting in order to bring peace. So,
and let's be honest.
Try to make peace.
And let's be honest, Negan is not exactly just going to go along happy-go-lucky with the peace plan either.
No.
Well, I'm extremely excited for this second half after reading this interview, because he says the first half was action-packed, very kinetic, a lot of separate stories. And it's a lot more character driven in this next half. But he said mainly what the focus for Rick is that what does he stand for? Who has he become up to this point? It's a reevaluation of who he is and what he's capable of becoming. So
that only happens like twice a season. So
yeah. So I mean, is it going to be 3 episodes of him sitting and staring at Carl's grave and reading the letter and trying to figure out everything all over again?
Crying.
Lots of Andrew Lincoln tears. You said something about Carl's grave. I just wanted this is kind of a side note. I was kind of sad that we didn't get to see Carl's grave with just a big empty can of pudding on it.
Oh my God!
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad.
That's like the gravestone.
For people like me, I'm sad that we saw Carl's grave, because honestly, I would have thought it would have been great. You hear the gunshot, they wince to it, and he wasn't able to do it, and you see him start stumbling out as a zombie.
I was going to say that. We don't get to see Chandler Riggs in zombie makeup at all.
Well, you saw his eye kind of going bad underneath the cloth when he was turning. That was pretty much the closest that we were getting. And I'm sure he's mad too. I'm sure he wanted to put the zombie makeup on.
Like that's the one cool part of getting fired from that show or let go from that show is you get to be a zombie for at least an episode.
I would totally be a zombie for an episode.
Yeah. So I'm fearful of what we get with Rick. But Lincoln said he only gets 1 episode off this season. So there could be a lot of him sitting and dwelling over things while everybody else is doing everything else, because the way he explains the rest of the season is a lot of it's now about consolidating, licking their wounds, trying to find some way to strike back and win the war. It's a mad scramble. It's a much more balanced second half rather than just being a one-way traffic and then retaliation. This is a much more skirmish and guerrilla warfare, which that gets me excited for the second half because I want to see the back and forth between Negan and Hilltop, basically, because that's pretty much all that's left is Hilltop.
Yeah. Well, they even talked about that a little bit. Like, really, we're going to consolidate everybody at Hilltop? Everyone? Yeah.
And Scott M. Gimble did say that the war will be Scott over.
Gimble.
Yeah, he did say that the war will be over by this season.
Yeah, and that's sort of what we were promised at the beginning of the whole Negan arc, was that the whole thing was going to take roughly 2 seasons, which we're in the back half of that second one now.
Yeah,
it makes it different than most seasons. Most seasons are setting up the next season and stuff like that. They said that this one, the ending episode, is a finalization to this specific story. It's not setting up the next season. He said there'll be little Easter eggs here and there that'll kind of
just in case the second most popular show in the world gets canceled.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it don't. I will be really upset. I would probably riot.
Yeah, I
one woman riot.
Yep.
Could be a name, by the way.
In the past, we've heard that 10 is the magic number that they're kind of really going for. Gimble again said in an interview, 10 is not even close to the magic number. He said that the comic book story is so far ahead that they see it going for many, many more seasons.
So for reference, the comic Negan is introduced in episode or in issue 100. The comic is currently on issue 178, I think. So there's a lot of story that they still can do.
Yeah. So and characters that they've introduced that they still haven't fully fleshed out yet.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of stories. So, what that means for main characters, who knows? Because not everybody's going to stay on forever.
Well, even all the main characters aren't even the same between the show and the books at this point.
No. Like Daryl. Daryl's the main one that's not in the comic books.
Well, case in point, our 2 favorite characters generally. I mean, not one of my favorite, but Daryl's one of our favorite characters. Our other main favorite character is Maggie.
Yep.
Did you guys hear the news with Lauren Graham?
Cohan?
Sorry.
They're not killing her.
No, I did not.
We don't know.
Don't make me sad.
They're making bad negotiation decisions. Her contract is up after this season.
She has all the power right now.
That's the thing, is she's trying and they are not giving her what she's asking for. So Lauren Cohan has signed on to a pilot for an ABC show. What that means, we don't know, but this could be we could be losing Maggie here soon as well.
No.
I quit.
If the pilot gets picked up on the other show, then it's only a little bit of Maggie that we see. If it doesn't get picked up, then some of her negotiation power goes away. And she said that she's not using the pilot as a negotiation thing. It's just they weren't coming equal on terms, and she is becoming a very hot commodity. She is, aside from Andrew Lincoln, she's the face that people want to see in other stuff the most now.
Absolutely.
And then you look at what happened with John Barenthal with Shane, and
you mean the Punisher?
He's a Punisher. So most people, when you move on from Walking Dead, you have a lot of stuff, and that's what Lauren's looking at. And she already had things kind of lining up even before Walking Dead took off. So
I mean, she was already a great actress. Have you seen Van Wilder, The Rise of Taj?
But yeah, so the younger generation loses Carl this episode. We potentially could lose Maggie. I'm
going to reserve judgment on that until it's something that's more concrete.
That's what everybody's reporting, is that she's done after the season because she's already signing on to new projects. What is there any hope for the show after that, or
well, of course. I mean, as much turnover as has gone on in this show, people die all the time. If we lose one of the leads now, somebody else is going to pick up that slack. It may not be somebody we know right now, but think about how few people that are currently on the show were actually part of that original group from the first couple of seasons. It's pretty much just Rick and it's Rick and Carol and Daryl, and that's pretty much it.
Only series regular,
Morgan.
The only series regular that is left is Andrew Lincoln as Rick.
Yeah.
Because nobody else was considered a regular until
at least season 2.
Yeah.
And plus Morgan's part of that list too, because that was when he first
so the
met.
only people left from the premiere are Morgan and Andrew Lincoln, and Carl was the third, but he's so it's just them from the premiere. They're left. But yeah, from the original group, it's just Rick, Daryl, and Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I love that Gimbal constantly refers to the butterfly effect, that the way that the TV show plays out differently than the comic, because there's constantly things that they're writing and talking about that completely change what's going to end up happening with this character. I mean, hence why we get one of the best characters in the show in Carol. She was not that great. She was insignificant in the comic, yeah. And to become what she became in the show is astounding.
Well, and that's a lot on Melissa McBride. She's
absolutely
fantastic.
Absolutely.
She's like cuckoo in the comic books too.
She does go cuckoo in the comic books, yeah. She just wants to be loved.
Comic books.
And get some nuzzling and some neck nibbles. So but I mean, what do you think this spells out for Carol with Henry doing the next stab?
I don't think he's going to become like what was her name? Flower Girl.
Lizzie,
yeah.
I don't think he's going to become that way. I think he's gonna be
Lizzie
Carl.
at least listened to Carol some. Henry straight up just disobeyed.
Yeah,
and Lizzie
he listens to Morgan. So he kind of listens to Morgan.
But Morgan's leaving. We know that. We know he's going to Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So
and let's be clear, Lizzie didn't really understand what she was doing. The girl was mentally traumatized. She thought she was helping her sister to become immortal or whatever. This kid clearly knew he was killing someone.
And he wanted to. He from like every opportunity that he's gotten to go out and do, he's pushed to go, let me go with you. Let me go, he clearly has a bloodthirst.
Yeah.
And
which is why Mrs. Malice likes him so much.
And he's he's going to be written more and more into the focus with this, because he's the actor is the brother of Sophia, the actress that played Sophia. So just because of that connection in real life type of thing, there's going to be more of this Carol Henry. What the heck? I love the face that Zorro's giving us right now.
Lip curl of disgust. Can't stand that kid.
I don't like him either. It's hard to have a kid come in almost step by step like Carl did, and to bring him in, it's not going to be good. He's not going to become a favorite. Unless he does something really impressive like kill Negan.
Unless they recast him.
I'm like,
yeah. Where's that time jump when we need it?
Yeah. Well, I called it out a little bit earlier. But Carol just gets real self-righteous and mean to a kid again. But she
wasn't mean.
She would have been she
was trying to protect him. That's what she was trying to be.
Oh yeah, no, I mean for sure. She's angry out of character.
When I hear you say mean, I think of like her noticeably saying things to like scare the child that she does.
Oh with the cookies and the "I'll kill you in your sleep," that kind of stuff. Yeah,
people die.
Nothing that she says to a child now, she's not telling him that, is mean, in my opinion.
Okay, so it's all relative, but still, she had Sophia lived, Carol would have been an interesting mom in the post-apocalyptic world.
Well, she never would have snapped. I don't think she would have snapped as much had Sophia lived.
Snapped.
That is Rick going to see more eye to eye with Carol now that he's lost Carl?
Oh, yeah, now they have something in common.
Mm-hmm.
Does Rick have any biological children left?
No, Judith is not his.
Purity tests aren't around anymore in this world, so for all he knows, that's just the way it's going to have to be. That Judith is his.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know who carries the blonde gene in the family.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not with any of them because Shane wasn't even blonde either. He was brunette.
Maybe his mom was. Who knows?
Maybe.
Does she have blue eyes? I haven't even noticed.
Shane. Yeah. I think Shane.
Well, it was one of the articles I was reading was talking about watching the episode, and their girlfriend walked in and saw Judith talking to Carl, and she's like, "She looks like Shane." So,
I felt like the whole scene with Carl talking to Judith as he's dying was a little heavy-handed. The kid's what, like 2?
It was odd because the kid's just like staring and like.
Yeah, and then randomly starts squealing and crying.
No idea what's happening. So that whole scene kind of didn't. I mean, I get it. He wanted to say goodbye to his sister, but at the same time, it made no sense because she doesn't understand.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet there was a letter for her in that stack. Plus, there was the whole montage of prepping for death. With the Polaroid picture with her and everything.
That was cute.
Yeah,
and the handprints. That was adorable.
Yeah.
And then we'll get a Terminator throwback where it'll be the old Polaroid and
come with me if you want to live.
I thought maybe you meant one of the handprints was a thumbs up slowly sinking into metal.
No. But yeah, so I'm assuming that we're gonna get more Hilltop next week. We're definitely getting more Negan.
Good.
Week. So that's pretty much all the opening trailer was.
Need more lean back.
I want to talk about a more lighthearted thing as we kind of close up the episode here. Andrew Lincoln, once again with Entertainment Weekly, did a exclusive video saying goodbye to Carl and Chandler Riggs. He sang a song that he dedicated that was on a play of the song Havana. And
oh no,
what he said in it was he goes, Riggs. And I love the opening line. On the plus side, I'm never going to have to say Carl.
Coral!
Yeah. Well, let's be clear. He never said Carl. He always said Coral.
That's how I have it spelled here, is Coral. Again. And he said, the minuses far outweigh the pluses, so I'm going to have to dedicate this song to you. And the lines were, and I'm not singing it because I know that
Atlanta, oh no.
Yeah.
Chandler, ooh la la. Half of my heart is in Chandler, ooh la la.
It was Chandler, ooh la la. Half of my heart is in Chandler, ooh la la. He came from east or west Atlanta, ooh la la. I love you so much, Chandler, ooh la la. God, I hate those freaking zombies. They keep eating all my friends and family. But I will get to see you soon because you're coming to London soon. Chandler, ooh la la. Half of my heart died with Chandler, ooh la la. He comes from east or west Atlanta. I don't know, but he's southern, that I do know. I can't begin to say. And then he laughs and he stops and he looks at the camera and he says, how much I miss you. So it was a very, very touching, heartfelt video.
I'm gonna need to watch this. Yeah. That song has been stuck in my head for like the last 3 weeks. So I'm gonna hear a different version of it.
If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/MaliceCorp, I will put the links to the video below. You'll probably see video popping up here with him doing the singing, but it won't have the audio to it. But it is a very heartfelt, cool thing to see. He's essentially a surrogate father to Chandler Riggs. I mean, the last 8 years
time spent together,
he's a small boy.
But yeah, I understand the killing off of Carl, because if you are going to do any type of time jump, which makes sense to do at some point, Chandler's far older already than Carl is in the comics at the stage that they're trying to put up. So Judith will be the better one to
time jump,
do that. And if we're losing Maggie, you got to do something with a female to.
I'm not buying the losing Maggie until it's official.
We don't only lose Maggie though in the situation.
I don't think she's gonna die. So this is what I think is if anything, if she dies, it'll be next season, because what they'll do is they'll contract to like have her in a limit. Like say that the pilot gets picked up, she can't do both shows, and she'll be contracted to the pilot, but she could do limited, and she may still come on for limited roles to kind of flesh out whatever needs to be done to move the storyline along.
Yeah. Most pilot contracts have a 7-year exclusivity clause in them, but I'm willing to bet that because she's a main character in this one, there's got to be some sort of like, clause in there like, hey, if they need me to come back for a scene or 5 here or there, I can do it.
If we lose Maggie, we're not technically losing one character at once. We're losing 2 because we're losing a potential another character, which is Glenn's baby.
Yeah, I think baby's gonna die. Honestly.
Oh, you have such a sunny disposition, positive outlook. I love it. I was thinking like if she doesn't die till next season, then that would probably be when the time jump happens, and then the baby would be out.
Yeah, and she would end up dying in childbirth, just like Lori.
I see one baby having to die. I'm sorry, 2 babies I just don't see them riding around. The baby
It's been like 4 years since the apocalypse. People have to breed to keep.
I know, but they're writing them into the story that they're going to have to focus around that, and they're going all out war. And we haven't even gotten to the cannibals yet that are going to be coming. And
is that the Whisperers?
Well,
the Whisperers, yeah.
They got Gracie.
Not so much the cannibals, but the face, the where the faces of.
Yeah.
They brought in Gracie, but we don't know what's going on with her either.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Gracie, and then.
But the thing is, I don't remember a baby Gracie in the comic books. I remember Judith, but she died. But Glenn's, Maggie is pregnant with Glenn's son in the comic books, and he does die, she's still pregnant. Is it gonna
be the Saved by the Bell new generation where it's gonna be Walking Dead or the Crawling Dead?
The college years. The next generation.
Yeah, the Crawling Dead.
As long as they bring in Leah Remini, that'll be fine.
Yeah. So
I don't see that a baby necessarily has to die there, especially if it's going to be born in a community like Hilltop.
Yeah.
If once they have dealt with the saviors one way or another, that would be like one of the few safe places. The whole issue with Judith when she was born was, hey, we're nomads wandering around surrounded by the Walking Dead. Having a baby crying every 3 hours or whatever is probably not great. But if you're in a palisaded, a walled community, you're probably okay to have a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's she's got the pilot that she got picked up for has a pretty good co-star to it that it's got a good chance to be picked up by ABC for a full run.
Who dat?
It's called Whiskey Caviar, and it's a ABC spy thriller. And the CIA operative playing opposite her is Scott Foley as an FBI agent.
Pass.
So, well, he was big with Scandal, so
it sounds like a federal version of Castle.
Yeah, but no, she's a CIA operative. He's a FBI agent. So.
I don't want to lose Maggie.
I don't want to lose Maggie either, but you've got some pretty high end names attached to that. So
boycott that.
Scott
Foley's B-list at best.
Don't watch the show.
He got big with Scandal. For ABC at least, because it's going to ABC and Scandal's going away. So they give the next project that they attach him to as Scandal's ending. It's a pretty good chance that they pick it up just to keep the name recognition going from the people that are losing Scandal.
Being picked up and being worthy of
I know
on is different.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't want to believe it.
You never want to believe it. Let's end the episode on this. What the heck do we think's going on at the end of the episode with Rick and leaning against the tree? So thoughts, if either of you have them.
My other opinion, if it wasn't Carl's fever dream, was that it's Rick's fever dream as he's laying there wounded, thinking about the stuff that Carl had been talking about as he died.
I'm saying this is clearly not a fever dream because it is not hazy. It is.
No,
it is
it's
No,
not.
I'm saying like all the older Rick Whitebeard with Negan and the
No.
farming and all that.
yeah,
like
I'm
that.
talking about the last 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, no, the actual him laying against the tree, wounded, surrounded by weird hanging stained glass. Yeah,
Mhm.
no,
They're Celtic
I was-
knots. I'm like they're Celtic
sure.
knots.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, but I mean, that's clearly something that we're gonna have to watch the rest of the season to figure out. They haven't given us enough clues to even make educated guesses right now.
Yeah.
I think that tree has something. It means something because of the stained glass. Who hangs stained glass on a tree with Celtic knots on it? It's got to be something. So
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's got to be something.
Well, this is hot take time. You can just throw your what you think's going on.
I don't know what I think is going on with that tree. I just know that it's a nice looking tree with unbreak glass on it. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
doing stained glass.
I'm pretty sure he raided an order of Franciscan monks that make stained glass hangings in order to help fight the saviors, and something went wrong.
Yeah,
I have
hot
over
take.
from Ireland.
I have one of two theories. One, of course, is that we've lost somebody else major there, and that's what he's crying about. Is it once again? It's something that where he puts the blame on himself for whoever died, and that's why he's begging for
Well,
God
he's
forbid.
clearly also wounded there.
And that's my other theory, is that it is in a situation with Negan, and this is where the turn will happen of Negan being a little bit more human, maybe coming to Rick's aid or saving it. There's a major play to this. They keep showing this specific scene, and
have been since the beginning of
Yeah.
this season.
and so
Maybe
it's going to
that's
have a
right.
huge impact to the series. And if that's what shows some of the humanity of Negan, that maybe it's after he chased him with the axe and they've gotten into a fight and now Rick's
That's
there.
the last stand tree.
Yeah.
It finds the two stained glasses with the Celtic knots, so they mean something, like a little Easter egg.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'll have to look them up.
Maybe he caught Lucille to the ribs there.
Possibly. Yeah. That's what I mean is there's got to be something that those are my two claims. Is it's either we lost somebody that finally put Rick over the deep end and understands that it's not all worth it for whatever fighting's going on,
He's just in a moment of despair.
or it's Negan coming to aid at some point or something like that. That's just my hot take on it. I'm probably completely wrong, but
And like I said, I don't think they've given us enough clues to even make an educated guess at this point.
well, that's what I want to know. You guys that are watching, if you're watching, let us know what your thoughts are on that last scene, what you think's going on, what you think's happening in the comments below. I know if you're watching on Twitch, there's no comments below, but if you're watching on YouTube, put them in the comments below. Any other theories that you have about what happened with this episode, if you liked it, loved it, hated it?
One thing that we really didn't talk about almost at all was the dude that Chandler or that Carl was bringing back, Sadiq. He's a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be huge
For Maggie?
and for Maggie, for everybody, for the community in general. In a post-apocalyptic world, you need somebody with some kind of medical knowledge. And I thought it was kind of interesting just the way that he was interacting with Carl as he died. Kind of cemented the fact that, like, at first I was worried that Rick and Michonne were not going to be super accepting of him, but just the way he was interacting with Carl, it was like, yeah, they're going to have to take him now. And especially Carl said, congratulations, you're stuck with us.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that was pointed out in an article as well, is that Sadiq had his talk with Carl while Rosita was looking away. And also it's like, why aren't these other people having more of a connection? You would think that they have a better connection than Sadiq does, but he clearly had a better written scene with him in terms of talking to him.
And even in the Fever Dream or whatever it was at the beginning, Jerry's like, well, yeah, I got roped into masonry stuff. Sadiq asked me who can say no to Sadiq.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had Eugene in there as well. And
yeah,
And you do not see Maggie in those flashbacks either, too, which kind of worries me now even more.
Eugene
Go back to Maggie.
that's true. I didn't think about that.
Eugene's line in the apple orchard to Judith was freaking classic Eugene. He said, I would be honored if you'd be my sous chef, or I could be the sous and you will surely chef.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only Eugene, and it just makes his character that much more lovable.
I just want his character dead.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
not
on
the character he was in the
irredeemable
comic
side.
books. I want his character dead. That's Negan. I love how charismatic Jeffrey Dean Morgan is. That if there's any way that they can turn him into a human
I'm a
being,
stand-up guy.
I will take him over to the group. But Eugene, I'm done with.
Yeah, sure.
He's the
Which
next
sucks
one,
because
and
I
can't wait.
love that actor and he's doing a killer job
Yeah.
with that character. But man, I hate that
That's
character.
the problem. He's doing such a killer job with the character that he's just so
He's killing it.
you hate him. You hate him. He's unlikable. I mean, the only other character that I can see right now that you just want to see die is Negan's right-hand guy, which we get a lot of in the next episode.
Simon.
Yeah. So, and unfortunately, we get the trash people in the next episode as well. So,
Oh, not
They
the
will be back.
heapsters. Come on.
the heapsters will be back. So,
Tired of poor syntax.
So make sure that you guys come and join us next Monday, 9 p.m. Pacific. We do this every week that Walking Dead airs, and it's going to be airing till April 15th. So we're going to have quite a bit of Walking Dead to talk about. So come join us and pose your questions and your thoughts in the chat room with us. We appreciate you coming and joining us and following the Twitch channel. And we missed Jack Malice this week, but we had Mrs. Malice to help us out. He's over at the fantastic Battle Mage Brewery doing some D&D gameplay with one of the fantastic DMs over there that we had on the chat Friday.
Yeah, that guy was rad. Jeremy? Something?
Yeah, he's really
So,
cool.
do you guys have a cast this Thursday, Mr. Zorro?
Yeah, actually, Supernatural is coming back this week. So Thursday evening at
8:30.
8:30. Yeah.
8:30. And we will add that to the schedule because I wasn't sure about that. Where can we follow everybody? Anywhere we can follow you, Mrs. Malice, if they want to pose questions about Walking Dead?
Nope.
Nope. Well, you can follow her at Malice Corp
Yep.
or follow her better half. Well, no, her not so better half, rather.
Or more surly half.
Better half.
Jack at Jack_Malice on Twitter, and post any Walking Dead questions you have or any gory scenes that you want to share with Mrs. Malice from The Walking Dead. Not real gore.
Oh,
We don't
well.
want
No real stuff.
No, fictional only. Yeah.
Send those over to at Jack_Malice on Twitter, and hashtag it Mrs. Malice, because if you don't, Jack will be like, "What the hell is that?"
Why is everybody sending me bloody stuff? I don't get it.
And please hashtag it. This is jacked up. Good. He always asks why it's got to be jacked. So
He does.
where can we follow you, Mr. Zorro?
Also, at Jack Malice, send him stuff about how great Superman is. He loves it. I am at ICZorro on Twitter and Instagram, and pretty much anything you can have a sign-up name for.
Okay. And follow us on our website, malice-corp.com. More articles will be coming there at some point. Right now, we're just doing the rewinds for MaliceCast that are popping up daily to catch back up with the season 2 of the cast. And you can follow me on Twitter at Mest_MaliceCorp. You can also follow me on Instagram at Mest5150. That's where all the thumbnails we put together for these casts pop up first for you to be able to see them. And we appreciate you guys coming out and joining us. And we enjoy you coming back next week to talk more Dead with us. With that being said, you guys keep nerding on.
Before we devolve
My own
completely,
catchphrase. I
carry
can't
on.
even- Yeah,
Catchphrase sign off.
yeah,
Walking on.
yeah. Don't die on us.
And if you do, don't come back.
Talk dead to me.
There you go. I like that one.